Alright, here's the Epic Fast Glass version 2686 rod building kit. Comes with everything you need. Got their fiberglass rod tube here. Put that off to the side. Rod sock with all the pieces of the blank. I'm not going to pull all of them out right now. I've got the olive color. The full wells grip. Reel seat. We've got the little trim piece between the reel seat and the butt of the grip. A cloth to wipe down the rod. And then if we lift this top piece off, you can see that it comes with everything you need to build a rod. Got some stickers and rod stand here, and then all the epoxy thread and everything else. Mixing cups, guides, brushes, everything you might need to build a rod. Here's a little closer look at the epoxies and different tools that the kit comes with. I ordered an extra color of thread, so I've got a chartreuse, a darker olive color, as well as the natural silk. And the natural silk ends up being basically clear when it goes on, which is kind of cool. We've got snake brand guides, mixing cups, the epoxy mix, so you'll put equal parts in the mixing cup, and then that'll cure to go over your guide wraps. And then we've got our glue for the guide wraps here. We've got some color preserver as well as the finisher. So again, the 15-minute resin to finish off the thread wraps. On the guides, got some mixing sticks, toothpick, all the brushes, little spatula, things you might need to manipulate the resins, and a China pen, China marker to mark the blank. So it's a pretty complete kit. It's got full instructions on how to use the resins, how to mix the resins, and of course their whole guide, which also comes with the kit, a big booklet, so that basically you can have no experience building a rod, and you can get through this step by step with the book. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is mark how far down the blank our grip goes, so that we can tape that and not make any marks out on the part of the blank that's going to show. So we're going to dry assemble this and put some masking tape on the blank so that we don't mess it up. So there it is, that's all firmly seated. So I'm going to mark that spot with the China marker. And then that's where I'm going to place the masking tape. Okay, so I've got just a piece of 100 grit sandpaper. I'm not sure what the grit is that they recommend, but this has worked alright for me in the past. I'm not going to go too crazy with it because it's fairly coarse. Again, so this right side of the tape is the side I do not want to touch. This is the side I need to rough up so that the epoxy has something to grip onto when I glue on the grip in the real seat. So I'm not going to get super close to this line, just, you know, for my own peace of mind. I'm not going to go all the way right up to it. But you're just looking to rough it up. You don't have to go too crazy. You'll see as you work your way down, it kind of scuff up. And it's kind of scary to do if you can see the damage it's done to the blank, because you definitely would not want to go on the wrong side of the tape here. Let's see where we're at. Definitely a good deal rougher. We can probably go a little bit more here. My way, trying to do it evenly, getting some good scuff marks all over this blank. And that's probably good right there. Alright, I don't know, try turning my light off to see if you can see this a little better. You can see, yeah, you can't really see there. See the nice unsanded blank here. There we go, that looks a little better. And then my side that's scuffed up. So not real deep gouges or anything, just a little rough there. Just something to note here, since I did get the 686 blank with the fighting butt down here, you have to account for this fighting butt when you're measuring out your grip length, and also, which I did, but also you have to know that when you add this fighting butt, you are adding they say about 6 millimeters to the length of this section. So if I stand this up, you're going to see here, I think, that my end with the fighting butt, get a light in here so you can see this a little better. My end with the fighting butt is a little longer than what is the second section. Their directions say to use a fine tooth tack saw to even out that section length. Their only reasoning is, well, aesthetics. You know, if you're holding the pieces all together, you know, you might look at that and say, oh, well, you know, those pieces aren't the same length. That doesn't bother me. The problem comes in with your rod tube. If you know the rod tube is tight to the section length and you're adding 6 millimeters to the section, the rod tube might not close properly, it might not fit. I've tested with this one, it fits good. I tested it in the rod sock and it closes nice, and you know, I'm not putting any pressure on the section or anything. So I'm going to leave it this way. I don't care that it's a little bit, you know, the butt section's a little bit longer. I mean, if you could see this from my angle, you know, I can go like this. I can't even tell the difference. You know, I have to really, you know, put them on a level surface, and then I can see a little bit of a difference. But so I don't think it's a big deal for me. But keep in mind that if you do have a fighting butt on whatever rod you're building, that you may have to cut off a little length there to make it the same length as the rest of the sections, so that it fits in your rod tube. Okay, so the next step is going to be to mark out the different components of the handle on your blank, so that you can build up an arbor under the reel seat, so that it fits nice and snug, and the glue, the resin grips, you know, and holds the reel seat in place. So what they tell you to do is to kind of add your pieces one by one and mark where they fit on the blank, so that you know where your reel seat's going to start and end, and so you know where each component is going to start and end. So we already have tape down at this end for the total length of the handle, reel seat, and fighting butt. I'm going to go ahead and put a quick mark where the fighting butt ends. And then you don't want to forget that you do have this trim piece as well. So I'm going to slide that on, and I'll go ahead and mark that as well, make sure I'm nice and firm here. I'm going to mark that. I don't know how important those two marks, well, this one will be important because that's where the reel seat will start. So you need you'll be building up an arbor there with masking tape, so you do need to know that. This distance is the first key one. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that as close as possible all the way around. Again, you're not going to be going right up to this line with your arbor, but you definitely don't want to be building up an arbor underneath this section. So I'm almost done here. Okay, and there's that. So then my next piece is the reel seat. So I'll slide that in here, and the trim piece on the 6 weight fits into the reel seat. Once you get into 7 and 8 weight, they just butt up against each other. They don't fit into each other like this. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's all pressed, and I'm going to mark the far end of my reel seat. And this is the other important line. Alright. And then just to double check, I'm going to slide my grip on. And you can see I'm right at my masking tape, so that all looks good. Everything is fit nice and snug there. Keep getting out of frame here. All fits nice and snug, and I'm right at my line here. I'll slide these components off. And then you can see my marks. I've got the end of my fighting butt, which probably isn't all that important here. The line all the way around that marks the trim piece. So slide this in here, the little trim piece here. So then in between these two lines is where my reel seat's going to sit. And you can see with this reel seat, it's, they're loose. They're not, there's no way for them to pre-size these. So you are going to have to build up an arbor, pretty much every time. Okay, so now we're doing the arbor for the reel seat, and I got started a little bit off camera just to kind of get a rough idea of how many wraps I was going to need. I think I got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 full wraps of this masking tape, and this is just standard, Scotch masking tape. But maybe 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch in diameter. What you're looking for, they say, is about a 1/2 millimeter clearance between the real seat and the arbor. So on this side, you're not going to be able to tell very much, but this side you can see I've got a little bit of wiggle room. I'm probably going to put another couple wraps under there, but more importantly, to see the starting point, it was flipped around, try to get it on camera, you can see how much play is on this side. So we need to take that out. So we're pretty close down here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put, get this on this end, probably end up putting the same amount of wraps on this end. We're just having a little bit of a gap between the edge, that I have marked in the tape, and then probably going to put another strip in the middle. You can have gaps, but that would be too big of a gap, so we'll be putting most likely a 3rd section here. I think there's plenty of space for it, so I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more wraps on this side and double check it again, and then move to the other side. You want these on as straight as possible, so you know exactly how many wraps you have. It's about 1 more rotation. We got maybe 2.5 to 3 additional wraps there, and we'll see if I judge that right. That's on there. That's probably okay. I might take 1 wrap off. I think I was good with 2 wraps. I did 3, and it's probably just a little bit too tight. You want some space in there so that the glue has room to be where it needs to be. So I'm going to take 1 wrap off. Test this again. And that's good right there. There's contact, but you get a little bit of a wiggle there. You could probably be even a little bit looser, but that's pretty good. So now I'm going to do this other side. And I'm not going to go right up to the line. I'm going to leave, a centimeter or so of space. And the first wrap's the hardest because you want to get it straight. That is pretty good there. And let's wrap this up. I don't want to get any closer to the edge. Let's see where we're at. Not doing a good job of counting my wraps here. Probably 1 wrap short. Pretty close. I'll put 1 more wrap on. See how that works. There. And that's perfect. Alright, so then just in the middle here, one more set. Oops. Try this again. See where we're at. That feels great right there. They all felt like the same amount of pressure or resistance all the way up as I slide it on. But still some, if you really work on this a little bit, you got some wiggle room, so that means that there's room for the epoxy to get in there and set. So that should be that. We've arbored this real seat, and it's pretty much ready to glue.